Hello and welcome, it's Donna from Riverside Beads here, and today is our macrame tutorial. We're going to do our twisted macrame. Let me just bring the right bit in. Lovely, hello, good to see everybody. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're here on Facebook Live with us or watching back on our YouTube channel. So this is twisted macrame. Now I have started a little series on macrame because there's lots of different techniques to cover. Before Christmas I did a standard square knot tutorial, and then today I thought I'd do a twisted one, but what I also wanted to do is do a double coloured one at the same time. Now this double coloured technique doubles up for whether you do a twisted or a flat, so I might do a flat double one, but the principles are the same. Now I've done my lazy cord and I prepared this. It has to be at least as long as the board to be able to grip in, so I'm gripping that in the board there. And then this part here I am doing it, so ultimately it wants to be about 3 times the length of your piece, but because I'm going to do it as 2 colours, I'm going to do about 2 times the length across the 2 colours. I'm just roughly doing that. So I've got 2 colours of cord that will be my twisted colour part. So that is those 2 there. You can see the difference in them. I've got the nice hot pink and the purple. So these are, I'm doing these with cotton cord, but it works rather nicely with regular kind of macrame cord, thick or thin, different, you know, all your different finishes. Now what I'm doing first off is tying a knot to bring those together. That's how I get the double colours working, so it becomes almost one seamless part of cord. So I've got a knot that I've tied there, and that knot, so do feel free to watch back for more detail of macrame with our square knot tutorial, but this one is twisted square knot as such. Now I'm going to start it, I'm going to do a section, it'll end up about that big. I won't do the whole thing because the process is the same. I'll just make this zoom in a fraction more. Excuse me, bear with me, I can't see what it's doing. Let me just get that zoomed in. It's not playing the game from my, hopefully that's doing it. Yes, that's what I'm after. Lovely. Okay, so that knot that I tied there, I've put in the centre. So when you do macrame, you always put that in the centre there at the top, and then we're going to do our macrame. Now, this is the principles of square knot, but I'm always going to work on the right-hand side. So I'm going to make a D. Now, this first one, we just need to make sure that centre bit stays in the middle, so it looks a little bit awkward. I'll get this one tied, and then I'll give you a couple of tips when working with cotton cord particularly. So I'm taking that one down under the lazy cord and up through the D. It will look a bit more straightforward once I've got this one done. So that, remember, what I'm focusing on particularly at the moment is getting that in the centre. So if you've got somebody else to hold it for you, that's always very helpful. Like so. Okay, so that first one, don't worry too much about that. That's just to hold it in place. Okay, now just a tip with cotton cord. Could you see it's all quite curly, a bit Christmas ribbon like, you know, when you do your scissors on your Christmas ribbon. It's sometimes worth just gently running your nail the opposite way to the curl to almost uncoil this. That can sometimes make it a little bit easier to work. If you see it straightened it out there. So that now makes me a nice long piece of cord. Although sometimes the coils are quite useful for sort of tucking under. For the demo, I don't want to confuse you, so I'm just going to do that so it straightens that out. Now that just works particularly successfully on cotton cord like I'm using today. You don't find it's as curly with some of the other cords. Now, let me go through this knot in a little bit more detail. So the good thing with this knot is we're always going to work on the right-hand side or left, whichever one you choose, just stick to it. So I'm making my D with one side of my cord. I'm taking the other side of it down over that one, under the lazy cord and up through the D. So under there and up through there. And then I'm going to give that a pull, just making sure it doesn't get tangled. So don't you notice that little loop that appeared, so I've just sort of untangled that, pulling that up to the top there, and then we carry on and we keep going on the right hand side for this twisted one. So a D, so under that lazy cord, up through that D, and then pull that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to carry on doing that and give you some tips on this. Again, you know, I was saying about the Christmas ribbon, that analogy, when you pull this loop, so you can see I'm being quite loose with it, so I've got the principles of that knot, but when you do it, this is what not to do. Don't hold it down there and pull it up your cord, okay? What that will do is start to curl your centre cord and all of this. Keep it all fairly nice and loose. I don't know if you can see what I'm trying to explain there, but nice and loose, and pull that up to the top, rather than grabbing it on there and pulling it up the cord as such, which does work. The knot works, but then it starts to twist this centre lazy cord, or sometimes some of these, and it just makes that twist not as effective. So I'm gently putting that through. I'm just guiding it through, gently pulling it up, and it's only when I get to here I'll probably start to pull a little tighter, and then I'll knit a few more knots and I'll be able to show you what it's doing. So just make sure you're following that process, making your D, making sure that goes over that one, under that lazy cord and up through the D. So just make sure at that stage you're just pushing under there and up through there. Nice loose knots at this stage until you get to there, and then give it a pull to tighten it. Now it will take a few more till you get to see this process of it, but I love twisted macrame. It works with well, it works with all sorts of materials, but I particularly do it in cotton cord's my kind of go-to, and we don't have as many colours in that as some of the others, but I really like the kind of look of it when it's done with this, and also how it braids, you know, how when you're doing the macrame with it, it works. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. If there's any questions, then do check back and you know, let me know, and I'll check back and answer those. But the principle of it is that D shape. So just to recap, your D, making sure that one then on the left sits over, so it's going over there, under the lazy cord and up through the D. And then make that nice and loose as you're pulling that up. So I'm not putting any sort of pressure, I'm not curling the lazy cord or anything. And then pulling that like so. I've hopefully got enough to show you. Can you see it's got that real DNA type look? If I do a few more, you might get a better feel for that. There we go, that shows that quite nicely. So by DNA, you know what DNA looks like when you see it in a science-based situation, how it creates them sort of spiral curls. I just think that's how this looks. The lazy cord that we're braiding on, that stays in the centre, and that actually becomes the working part of the bracelet. Do you know what I've not done? I've not grabbed my finished sample of this. But what happens is this one comes off the disc, the board when it's done. This goes round your wrist, imagine that's a fully braided one, and this bit here then, which was your lazy cord, then becomes your mechanism to pull through your macrame. I might do a separate one on finishes, I know that's something that, I can't remember which side I was on. I'll go purple. I know that's something that people, you know, like to know how to finish these. I think I did cover a bit of it in my last one, but I'd like to carry on with this macrame. There's a few techniques still I think it'd be quite nice to show. We've got a new macrame kit out at the moment that's got 2 or 3 different braids in it as well. But yes, I think that is nearly about it. If I do a few more knots on it, but in principle the main things when I teach this is making sure you're not pulling up that lazy cord, that you're always knotting on one side, and with the double coloured the 2 colours of cotton, you get that kind of double coloured look, but your colours alternate, so it's not one colour you're working with. So I'm going from pink to purple. If you look, it's pink at the moment and purple will appear over there as a result of the knot that you do, like so. And then I'll do a couple more and then I'll show you where it's at. So make sure you're not pulling up this lazy cord to twist it. Ensure that you're always going on one side. So any of the tips I gave you about remembering which side you're on by putting knots in the cord and things like that don't work for this, because you have to alternate your cords to get that one-sided look on it. And if, even despite having taken care not to twist it, if this does start to twist, what you need to do is go to your board. Having this board makes such a difference. If you're into macrame and you haven't got a board, we do sell them either separately or as part of a starter kit. It just holds that tension, it holds that lazy cord, and particularly for twisted, makes it so much easier. So take this lazy cord off the bottom of the board, almost sort of just straighten it out if it had started to curl. And then put it back in place again. So I'll put it back in that bottom bit there. These are nice sort of little ridges that you can just put it, you could work on one side, you could have a couple of projects on the go, one on one side, one on the other. You can work that way on the board if you want to make a smaller project as well. So let's get this, I wonder if it'll be easier off the board to show you how it's come out. So I appreciate it's only a small piece of it, but it's so you can see the kind of look of it. Hopefully you can see that clearly, the sort of twisted look. So all these would be gone, so we'll have a look at the previous video I did, or I'll look at some finishing videos where I actually have the tools and the glue to show you that. But I love the look of it. It's really wearable, it's really fun to work with. It's a lovely, I'm going to keep saying it, summer's on its way. That's it, we're on that spiral to summer now in my eyes. And it's a beautiful piece to wear. It gives you a real fresh, natural look, and you can do layers of them, you can do multi. You know, it always looks quite nice if you make a few different ones in different colours. It works in your satin cords like we use for Kamahimo. So if you've got a piece of that, the nice thing about macrame, it doesn't, all them little bits you get left over that are no good for Kamahimo, you can use for your macrame. So little bits, you can see I only need the length of the board, which is, well, it's in centimetres, but I think it's actually about 12 inches, something like that. I think it's centimetres, don't quote me on that. I've got a ruler here. Hold on. Do you know that's an inch? That is actually an inch. So it's it's about a 12-inch board, something like that. So anything, you know, any piece of cord that you've got left with that, make great lazy cords. And then because you can do this tied together look, then you can just have small pieces of cord. So it's not like Kamahimo where you have to have you know, bigger bits to make them. Lots of little bits make lovely braids. And this is fab. Just keep going with that, get your tension right, tight enough but not too tight, and you'll soon have yourself a beautiful braid. So I haven't worked out what order I'm going to do my further macrame videos in, but do watch back and I'll look at an endings one and some of the other macrame braids that there are out there as well. So thanks for watching Riverside Beads, and do check bi-weekly for our tutorials. Take care everyone, thank you. Hello Facebook, I'm back, but hold fire because I can keep seeing messages. Just hold on that I've missed, and I know I've missed them. DNA Twisted Helix, thank you Katie. Stuart, I think you're just having a chat with Colin, that's fine. Gina, I hope that helped you and that you can get some use out of that, even though we can't sort of get you the bits and bobs here. Let me just write down that. Thank you, Lisa. I hope you picked up what you need. It's a nice technique, really cute. Makes really cute little braids. Katie, for the girls, like friendship braids and stuff like that, would be lovely. Yeah, and do check us out, Gina. Sorry, I missed. Someone's obviously having a conversation. And yeah, do check us out. You're more than welcome. It's a lot of my face on there, Gina, doing the tutorials, but we do our best to kind of cover lots of techniques. So tight enough that the knot, really, I did look, I'm going to confess, I did think there was a couple in there that I wasn't really happy with myself when I looked closely at it. I would, oh, I can't see how, whether that's showing it. Let me just go on to that right setting right there. So this bit where I spotted that, I've pulled it slightly tighter. My advice would be, so you can't see, that's the one I didn't like, that purple one there. Can you see I've got a gap in it? So there's a tiny gap, which I wouldn't want to see personally. I think it's actually sat really well, it's braided, it's twisted beautifully. But if you just get it so it's just tight enough that you, when I teach it, I always say, so when you look through your braid, which I obviously didn't do because you'd see my head going over the camera, but so you can't see the white of the board through it. That's always my tip there, that do it so it's tight enough so you can't see the white of the board through, but not too tight either. So hopefully that helps too. Did I miss any other questions? It's only showing me 4 messages at a time, and I don't know if I froze. I froze for me. Thank you, Gina, nice to have you here with us. So we do one of these every Wednesday at 3:30 British time. So yes, you're more than welcome to join us. We just don't want to get you too addicted to Riverside Beads because well, at the moment we can't send you anything. Yeah, really nice for your bits and bobs of embroidery threads, Celia. Yeah, these, you know, Kamahimo and Macrame are really great for using up assorted cords. Fabulous. Oh, I didn't freeze, Katie. Good, that's fine. Okay, well, hopefully that's everything you need. So I just haven't had planning time to work out what I'm doing, but it is me doing the tutorials at the moment. I need to have a chat with Heidi, see if she's dipping into any for us in the new year. I'm debating whether I need to pick this back for that loop. That will bug me. I agree, Sue. My tension isn't right on that one, and I really need to pull that a little tighter. Yeah, so thank you, Dawn. Oh, I didn't realise you were here. Nice to have you here. That's somebody else in America that we can't get the bits to either. But Dawn's my auntie, so I'll happily personally deliver those as soon as I possibly can. I'd find out if you're near to her, the bestie that are living in America. I could do like that could be like a definite need to travel and deliver things, couldn't it? That could be a personal delivery service. Fab. Okay guys, well, good to see you again. So I'm going to work on my planning, work out what order I'm going to do my macrame videos in, and yeah, get my schedule in, get them all loaded up. So I will see you next Wednesday for something else macrame. Right, fab. Take care everyone. I don't think there's any other messages that I've missed. So it was good to see you all again, and I will, well, Beadbox members, if you're not fed up of me already, I'll see you at 6 o'clock tonight. I'm definitely going to have wine there. I'm just going to put that out there. So feel free to bring your drink of choice. Unless I'm that tired, I need a nice cup of tea. Katie, what new beaded characters? Or I need to look back and see if I've done videos for all of our beaded characters we've got. So like the dragonflies and things like that I don't know whether I've done yet. So I can't, it would be top secret, Katie, for me to tell you whether there's any new very cute Easter characters coming as well. So yes, watch this space. You're obviously a Beadbox member. Katie, are you a Beadbox member now? So what we've started doing is launching our new things in Beadbox, and then if we decide we want to make them into a kit, which we're 9 times out of 10 doing, we will then turn it into a kit at some point over the coming months as well. So the Easter one I'm going to have to get going with, aren't I? I think we're going to aim for it in the end of January's box. So you'll have a little Easter cutie coming out, hopefully, if we get it done, and then we'll have it as a kit as well. So then I will probably do a video on it. Yeah. Oh, Lisa, you got to feed your pooches. I've got to feed my kids. I'm going to be honest. My husband's at work. We were just discussing that because my son's been working with me today. And yeah, I need to feed them between now and 6 o'clock. So I should get myself home and get that dealt with. And I'll be back with you all at 6 o'clock tonight. Oh, Holly, you there with Mum? Hi, Holly. Yes, there's some cute little things coming. We did have a planning of what we were making, and the bead boxes all sorted out for the year and all that sort of thing. Yeah, so me and the team will get on that. Got the lovely Lindsay does some of the designing as well. So yes, we shall get that sorted. Right, thank you guys. I'll reply to anything else as a message because there's a bit of a lag sometimes with them coming through. And thanks so much for joining us. I am looking forward. Thank you, Lisa. That's so cute. We will see you all, Beadbox members, at 6 o'clock, and the rest of you next Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Bye.